Well, retired Major General G.D. Bakshi sir is also connected with us. Bakshi sir, these are words that are coming out from the Air Chief Marshal himself. There cannot be any questions, there cannot be any doubts that he can raise. Anybody can raise. More importantly, when he speaks of political will, saying that there were clear-cut instructions and a free hand was given to the forces to carry out, calibrate and also precision strikes when it comes to Pakistan and the terror outfits are concerned. Bakshi sir? Well, we connected the line there, but as far as when it comes to big statements that are now coming from the Air Chief Marshal himself, where he seems to be saying that at least 5 jets of Pakistani Air Force were shot down by the S-400 air defense system during Operation Sindoor. And as far as this, how candid that he can actually get when it comes to sharing details when Operation Sindoor was underway. Also speaking of the political will, he said that this time there was clear-cut instructions that were coming in from the leadership, back-to-back meetings that was taking place. The role of the CDS was also very important as there was synchronization and coordination that was taking place. Priyank, this is important because these words are straight coming from the mouth of the Air Chief Marshal who was present there. Minute-by-minute updates that he was receiving at the time when Operation Sindoor was launched.
Yes, Amita, he is talking about how synchronized manner, what kind of synchronized manner this operation was launched, and he was also talking about that how the political will has been very much supportive for this Operation Sindoor. In a short while from now, I'm also awaiting that he will be replying to all those queries which have been raised in the parliament, which has been raised in social media platform, that the government in picture did not have that political will to keep on continuing the attack on Pakistan. Why did India stop? Rahul Gandhi, the opposition leader, had also been taking a jibe on the government in picture, that the government should not have stopped, and if they would have been there in power, then certainly the things could have gone till next level. But this is not a toy game. This is a war game which is happening in between two nuclear nations. So considering that, I'm expecting that the IAF Chief will be giving a very subtle reply to all those kind of queries which was questioning that why this Operation Sindoor was put on hold, why India did not kept on attacking Pakistan, and what could have been the role of both the sides of DGMO. Because what IAF Chief has also been I beg your pardon, Amita. What IAF Chief has also been suggesting that both the DGMOs spoke. That's how the ceasefire happened. So certainly, Indian Air Chief is trying to give the clear picture on the kind of speculation which was being raised after several tweets came out from Donald Trump's side, anticipating that there could be a ceasefire from both the sides. It is quite possible that the Pakistani would have informed it to US authorities that we are going to have a ceasefire because we already had a talk with the Indian government. And taking credit of that, Donald Trump has been blowing its trump everywhere, wherever he is going, that I was the one who had made the ceasefire. So in a short while from now, what I am particularly expecting is a very clear-cut statement from the IAF Chief, because it was moreover an air operation which was targeted towards the terror targets in Pakistan. The drone attack happened from the Indian Air Force side. The kind of S-400 had
that is what we're going to play out, Priyank, because he's been calling the S-400 system, which we had recently bought, to be a big game changer. The range of this system that has also kept the aircrafts, the jets of Pakistan away from their weapons like long-range glide bombs, and that they have not been able to penetrate our system. Why? Because it was the very effective use of the S-400 as far as the defense system is concerned, that provided to be a game changer.
That is Shahbaz, the Jacobabad airfield, one of them again, a major airfield that was attacked. And here there's an F-16 hangar, which you can see here. And here this is the photograph again from open source, from one of their earlier pictures of the same hangar. And here that hangar, which is one half of the hangar is gone. And I'm sure there were some aircraft inside which have got damaged there. So if I can just sum it up, what we were able to get there at least 2 command and control centers in like Murid and Chaklala that I have shown you one of the pictures. at least 6 radars, some of them big, some of them small. 2 SAGW system, that is in Lahore and Okara. Then, of course, runway at Sargodha and Rahimia Khan. 3 hangars that we attacked. One was, of course, Sukur, the UAV hangar, the Bholari hangar of AEWNC, and Jacobabad, the F-16 hangar. And we have indication of at least 1 AEWNC in that AEWC hangar, and a few F-16s which were under maintenance there. Apart from these, the SAGW systems, mostly from, I'm talking about fighter aircraft, are from S-400. We have at least 5 fighters confirmed killed and 1 large aircraft, which could be either an Elint aircraft or an AEWNC aircraft, which was taken out at a distance of about 300 kilometers. This is the actually largest ever recorded surface-to-air kill that we can talk about. And
well, even when it comes to those parked F-16s in Pakistan's Jacobabad air base, and they have been destroyed as far as in Bholari during Operation Sindoor. That is a confirmation coming in from Air Chief Marshal AP Singh himself, saying that India destroyed at least 5 Pakistani jets during Operation Sindoor between the 7th and the 10th of May, and the kind of free run and a free hand that was given to our defense forces to actually decide to calibrate, especially when it comes to the precision strikes. As Priyank and Sahil are also connected with us this time, because this is a massive revelation, Sahil, that is now coming across from India's air defense system, the surface-to-air missile system that shot down 5 Pakistani jets. So the question that many of them in the opposition and many other, from Pakistan were raising कि कितने jets गिराए, 5 Pakistani jets गिराए.
Yes, exactly. Those position biases basically stand silenced by the Air Chief today himself. He has come out with all those details and what Air Force basically achieved during Operation Sindoor. One phase was to carry out strikes against Pakistani terror bases that were 9, and with precision that aim was achieved. And then was basically the second phase of this Operation Sindoor between 8th and in fact 10th of May, wherein Air Force basically hit badly Pakistani assets. 5 jets were down, their radar systems and their important Air Force related, in fact, sites were attacked. We had seen how Rahimia Khan and other bases were hit and targeted, and those sites are still under maintenance. So now this basically disclosure of information by the man who was leading the Air Force, in fact, is leading the Air Force, and during the Operation Sindoor, what in basically Indian Air Force had achieved. One, to carry out the strikes against terror bases with precision, and then to hit the Pakistani Air Forces. The jets were down, the F-16, in fact, their sites were, in fact, traced, and that were also hit. We just heard the Air Chief basically putting out all these details in public domain now. So the questions that were being raised on Operation Sindoor, what India achieved out of it, is now in public domain. There were questions from, in fact, opposition political parties. But
well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that bit as far as when it comes to the Vipaksh here, and certain in Pakistan leadership as well, how they were questioning. Of course, the important point has been the response that has come in from the Indian leadership when we speak of the parliament. Because Sabyasachi, if we get to the political aspect of it, this is a question that was raised by Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, by the Home Minister, by the Prime Minister, that why not talk about the losses of the Pakistani forces? This is a combat situation. Now this is the detail that is now put across from the man himself. He is the one who is leading the Indian Air Force, who has played a crucial and a pivotal role when it comes to Operation Sindoor.
Well, that's right. See, it was very unfortunate that time and again the opposition MPs, in fact, every single member of parliament from the opposition had questioned the credibility of Operation Sindoor, have questioned the credibility of our armed forces. In fact, whether it is outside the parliament or inside the parliament, we had seen that reaction coming in from the opposition member of parliament, asking a clarification of Operation Sindoor. We had seen that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition, questioning the central government, stating that how many Indian fighter jets were down. In fact, that very point was reminded by not only Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but also by Home Minister Amit Shah, as well as Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, that why isn't the opposition member of Parliament speaking about the fact that how many Pakistan's fighter jets were down by India. That particular point should have been discussed, whether Operation Sindoor was successful or not. Yes, it was successful.
And owing to the success and the seamless way that Operation Sindoor was carried out, here is the Air Chief Marshal who seems to be spelling out clearly, saying that there was political will, there were clear-cut instructions, there was a lot of contribution by the CDS himself that led to the synchronization of all three forces, and they were given a free hand, especially when it comes to conducting the Operation Sindoor, where the losses should be, exactly how it should be carried out. The forces had a clear free hand, a free run that was given to the forces. Why? Because there was a...
People have spoken somewhere. Unfortunately, you know, everybody is speaking about it. कि कुछ ना कुछ मैं बोल दूंगा इस बारे में. So there have been talks about, was there any restriction? Were you kept constrained? If there were any constraints, they were self-made. We, the forces, decided what will be our rules of engagement. We, the forces, decided what will be the escalation ladder that we want to ride on. We decided how we want to control the escalation. So I want to make it very clear, there were no, I repeat, no restrictions on us. Full freedom was given to us to plan and execute.
Well, Shinjoy is also connected with us. Shinjoy, does this give the answer to those who were calling Operation Sindoor a tamasha? Because this is coming from the man himself. He's been there present in every single meeting. He says that, this is a time when they are actually looking for, they have trained their whole life for this. And this is a high-tech war that we are looking at. And how easily were they able to decimate as far as Pakistan is concerned? He spelled it all. Shinjoy, if you can unmute yourself, we can hear you then. Shinjoy, we need you. Shinjoy, we need you to unmute your mic, then we can hear you better. But Priyank, let me take that question to you, because we have seen certain leadership in Parliament calling Operation Sindoor as a tamasha. Time and again, when questions were being raised, kitne jets garaye, what was the losses that our forces had to suffer, but this is a combat situation. However, we have seen even previously when the defense forces have given out statements, it seems that the opposition back home wasn't convinced. Will this now convince them, the statement that is coming in from the Air Chief Marshal himself?
See, Amita, I would say that initially when the Operation Sindoor was launched, the opposition parties were certainly in favor of this particular operation. But suddenly when Donald Trump took advantage of this particular situation, he tried to take credit, then the political game altogether started changing, and certainly the politics started playing on this particular issue where several questions were raised. Continuing to that, Rahul Gandhi and other political leaders took it a few steps more. But
just interrupting you, Priyank, Major General G.D. Bakshi sir is reconnected with us. G.D. Bakshi sir, it cannot get any clearer from this. The political will that the defense forces had, the aim, the synchronization and everything, how it fell in place to carry out a seamless Operation Sindoor is because of the bravery of our Jawans, obviously, but exactly when it comes to the high-tech war and the manner in which that it was led, Pakistan had no option but to beg for a ceasefire for India.
Absolutely. I think the Indian Armed Forces and in specific the Air Force put in a superlative combat performance. In just 96 hours, we managed to bash the daylights out of Pakistan. 9 of their terror headquarters, markazes like the Markaz-e Subhanallah in Bhavalpur, the Markaz-e Taiba in Muridke in Lahore, the HM headquarter in Sialkot, they were, bombed to smithereens. And then we, on the 8th, we carried out SEAD, suppression of enemy air defenses, knocked out 7 radars of Pakistan. using the Horops radar homing drones, that Israel had given us. And then we hit them very hard the very next day on 10th. 12 out of 12 major air bases, 11 were pulverized. The command and control headquarters at Noor Khan was blasted to smithereens. The drone command post at Murid was blasted to smithereens. The runways at Sargodha, Jacobabad, etc., Sukur, from where these fighter bombers with nuclear weapons could have taken off, were cratered. Right? We hit the Bolari, where we knocked out their AVAC and 4 F-16 fighters on the ground. The Air Chief has rightly pointed out that it was political will is the first requirement to carry out an operation like this. Unfortunately, at the time of 26/11, etc., we had shown a total lack of political will to conflict, will to fight. Now we've given it back well and good to Pakistan. And I do hope and pray that we will be getting a Marshal, the next Marshal of the Air Force soon. I think the Air Force has done a superb job.
Yes, he's been
an
saying that he's
job
supremely proud that, during his tenure that Operation Sindoor has happened because they have been training all their lives for this. But Bakshi sir, what do you have to say as far as when it comes to certain of our political class has been concerned? They have been calling Operation Sindoor as a tamasha and time and again have been questioning ke kitne jets gire. What happens to that same question about Pakistan ke 5 jets gire? Does that answer their question now?
The chief has been, I think, very modest. 5 have been shot down, and what about the Air Force has also destroyed so many more on the ground. So at least 8 to 9 aircraft of Pakistan, the fighters are down, 2 AVACs have been down, and 1 air-to-air refueler is down, 1 C-130 transport is down. About 15 aircraft in total have been destroyed. What are they making a song and dance about? On the first day, we did so well. We knocked out 6 aircraft. My fault you knocked out 6 aircraft. You just got at the best 1 or 2. That's all. And you are making a song and dance. And if you did so well on the first day, what happened to you on day 2, day 3, day 4? Well, how is it that the Indian Air Force was able to bomb, blast to bits your terror headquarters, blast every air base in Pakistan, and show you the satellite photographs, the satellite imagery, loud and clear for the world to see? And now, international experts like Dr. Ladwig of the RUSI, like Colonel John Spencer of West Point, like Tom Cooper of Austria, they've all said India has won a clear-cut victory. And instead of getting in forever, never-ending, bogged down in forever wars, getting bogged down like America in Afghanistan or Iraq for decades, India finished it very, very quickly. Achieved all its aims and achieved more than its aims. It showed its total military superiority over Pakistan. And the punishment that has been inflicted on Pakistan, they may deny, they may do victory bhangra dances shamelessly. They have taken a beating which is unprecedented. Unfortunately, I find we in India have been very parsimonious in our praise of the armed forces and the fantastic job that they have done for us.
Absolutely,
and it is basic. People like I'm amazed at the Indian opposition. How churlish can you get? They have tried their best to parrot Pakistani military narratives, become a mouthpiece for Pakistan's military narratives, for Pakistan's lies and propaganda. They've fallen hook, line and sinker, and at the drop of a hat, they are ready to abuse the armed forces, the armed forces that stand guard 24/7, the armed forces that lay down their lives when required. Not a word of...
Well, hopefully it answered their questions as far as when, they have been asking the question, when India did have an upper hand, then why didn't we go all out when it comes to destroying Pakistan, or in fact retrieving Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? Thank you very much, Bakshi. Appreciate you joining us here on the broadcast. We also have Air Vice Marshal retired Nitin Vaidya, who's connected with us. Group Captain Dr. M.J. Augustine Vinod is also connected with us. Good afternoon to you, gentlemen. Sir, Vaidya sir, this is absolutely important. The kind of manner in which Mr. A.P. Singh, the Air Chief Marshal himself, is spelling out the details. Apart from the 5 jets, he says that one large electronic intelligence or the airborne early warning aircraft was also shot down. Now, when we talk about the combat situation, sir, the losses that Pakistan has incurred are huge.
Absolutely, and that is precisely why they have decided to ask for ceasefire. And it now coming from the mouth of the Air Chief Marshal, it is a confirmed activity that what we have done was amazing. It is just that we were only speculating until now. There was no confirmation per se. But now that the confirmation has come, it is hats off to the entire armed forces who have made this happen. I'm so proud of what they have done.
Absolutely, and he is a proud man himself. As the Air Chief Marshal was talking about it, he says that this is the training that we go through for all our life, to wait for such a situation to happen, and he didn't get it during his tenure. But Group Captain Vinod, he has been sharing images, and this is something that for all the world out there to see, the before and after images of the damages that we have caused. Whether it comes to Bahawalpur, which is the Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters, there was hardly any collateral damages. The adjacent buildings that are also fairly intact, that also shows the kind of precision strikes that were carried out.
Absolutely. In fact, I go with General Bakshi when he said, we have not been chest pumping as much as Pakistan has been, in spite of getting beaten black and blue. Of course, I know AP sir for a very long time, for over 3 decades. He's been man of few words that I understand. And I have rarely seen him. And he's done such wonderful, splendid job in his life as test pilot, as a commanding officer, and so on and so forth. But I've rarely ever seen him, blowing his trumpet. And he's been man of few words.
He went all out today.
Even that, I felt, in all fairness and due respect to Chief, if I were him, I would have probably, made it such a big fanfare that it would have hit the headlines faster. Some of it could have been made into,
but the impact still remains, sir. I mean, it's been, since a long time that Operation Sindoor, but we are still talking about it, and the impact still remains, and the bravery that has been shown by our Jawans there, whether be it on ground, whether be it in the air, whether be it in the waters there, how exactly it has been a game changer. Even today we are talking about it, and we will continue to talk about it for years to come, because this is a perfect example of a high-tech war, and how it was finished by India in carrying out these calibrated, precise strikes are concerned. This is an example that India has now given, especially to the world forces. Let's listen in once again to the Air Chief Marshal, especially when he speaks how S-400 system, which recently that India purchased, turned out to be a game changer.
There was very clear political will, very clear directions which were given to us, and there were no kind of restrictions which were put on that. Many people have spoken somewhere. Unfortunately, everybody is speaking about it. Ki kuch na kuch main bol dunga is bare mein. So there have been talks about, was there any restriction? Were you kept constrained? If there were any constraints, they were self-made. We, the forces, decided what will be our rules of engagement. We, the forces, decided what will be the escalation ladder that we want to ride on. We decided how we want to control the escalation. So I want to make it very clear, there were no, I repeat, no restrictions on us. Full freedom was given to us to plan and execute. Our air defense systems have done a wonderful job. The S-400 system, which we had recently bought, has been a game changer. The SAGW systems, mostly from, I'm talking about fighter aircraft, are from S-400. We have at least 5 fighters confirmed kills and 1 large aircraft, which could be either an Elint aircraft or an AWNC aircraft, which was taken out at a distance of about 300 kilometers. This is the actually largest ever recorded surface-to-air kill that we can talk about.
Well, retired Major General Shashi Asthana, sir, is also connected with us. Sir, when we speak of political will, how important is that coming from the top when there are clear-cut instructions and a free hand that is given to the forces to carry out such kind of Operation Sindoor or further operations that are needed to actually teach the enemy nation a lesson?
See, in any country, whenever a response to a combat situation is given, the political will sets the entire strategy in place as to how we are going to engage, like the case of Sindoor. So, as was mentioned, the political will, having given their intentions very clear, left everything to the military planners. And I think that was done very appropriately, and Sindoor is a perfect example of that. And not only that, if you find that the political leaders, they did discuss everything with the military leaders, and also Prime Minister meeting all the chiefs individually too was also there. So therefore, there was at no stage there was a communication gap between the political leadership and the military planners who were to execute the same thing. So when a national strategy is evolved in a manner that there is a synergized approach, there is an approach of the whole of the country put together, and also all the resources put together in a synergized manner, the outcomes do come out like Operation Sindoor, where we could engage a synergized precision strikes exactly at the spots. And not only that, the strategy was also, I would put it this way, that it was very well conceived in a manner that we not only gave the right message to the adversary, we also were able to
well, they were scrambling, sir, because right after, even a month after Operation Sindoor, satellite imagery that was shared as far as their runways are concerned, they still continue to scramble and struggle to repair and to renovate. Thank you very much, Asthana, sir, for your point of view. Let's get a political point of view from Mr. Rashid Alvi of the Congress Party, who is connected with us. Mr. Alvi, this is the Air Chief Marshal who is giving out points clearly that no one can no longer question or doubt. The question that was raised by the Vipaksh, कि कितने jets गिरे, कितने jets गिराए of Pakistan, that has now been spelled out, and hopefully now it no longer can be labeled as a tamasha.
You know, I have gone through the statement. I do not know it is the entire statement or the part of his statement, but we have great respect for our army, and we know it very well. This army doesn't belong to Bharatiya Janata Party. This army belongs to this country. This army belongs to you and me both. And our army is very powerful army. They can teach a lesson to Pakistan, no doubt in it. If our chief is saying that we have shot down 5-6 aircraft of Pakistan, we trust him. But important question is, during this Sindoor operation, whether he has clarified it or not, our Rafale and 4-5 aircraft were shot down by Pakistan or not. We were raising this issue, and not only we.
So, but is that important to know, sir? Because here the Air Chief Marshal has been saying that Pakistan was brought down to such a level that it had to come beg for a ceasefire for India. And also here is the Air Chief Marshal who is being given credit to the political leadership. He says that there was clear-cut instructions that were given to them, and because of a political leadership it was strong that the Indian Air Forces were carry out a successful Operation Sindoor.
Listen to me. I have two questions. With due respect to our chief, with due respect to our Prime Minister, whether it should be clarified whether our Rafale and other jets were shot down by Pakistan or not, because it was mentioned almost in every international paper. My second question is, and just that very day I asked from our government whether Prime Minister had said चुन के मारेंगे, बची कुछ जमीन खत्म कर देंगे, घर में घुस के मारेंगे. Simply we asked, how many terrorists have been killed. Hafiz Saeed is killed or not? Salahuddin is killed or not? Azhar Masood is killed or not? Dawood Ibrahim is alive or
Pakistan
dead?
being left in a crippled condition, sir, is that not enough to convince the opposition back home?
Not at all.
Will you still call it a tamasha?
Listen. Important thing is, what was the object of our government to attack Pakistan? To kill terrorists. Whether you have succeeded to kill all these renowned, outstanding terrorists or not, it is important.
Well, the backbone of those terrorists and their terror outfits, where they were receiving training, that has been decimated, sir. This is clearly being spelled out by the Air Chief Marshal himself. And he's been saying that that was the necessity of carrying out these precision strikes. No civilian areas were targeted when it comes to such kind of training outfits. Bhavalpur pictures he's been sharing. That is the Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters. He's been sharing, especially when it comes to the air bases of Pakistan, how they were completely crippled. In fact, they're still struggling to repair and to renovate. Isn't that enough of a justification, sir?
Listen, you are supporting Air Chief. I am also supporting Air Chief. You have respect him, I have also respect him. You know, anywhere in any country, what is the goal which is to be achieved, it is decided by the government, not by army.
No, but then why, where is the doubt, sir? Why are there still questions that remain, sir?
Listen to me, please have patience. Our army has achieved what our government has decided. But my question is, again and again my question is, Sindoor operation was to kill all the terrorists. Bache kuche zameen ko hame khatam karna. Not even a single terrorist who is responsible for the Pahalgam has been killed. Not even
Sir,
arrested.
that was made in Parliament as far as on the first day when Operation Sindoor debate was happening. It was spelled out by the Home Minister himself. And that was the very reason that Operation Mahadev was carried out. When it comes to the butchers of Pahalgam, they have been neutralized.
Madam, just yesterday, ex-serviceman, senior army officer, ex-army officer, I have gone through his statement and he is saying that our 10 soldiers were killed. And government of India is not accepting. I do not know what is truth, what is not.
All right. So as far as the political aspect of it, Rashid Alvi sir, request you to stay on with us because I am not in a position to respond that politically, but Ajay Alok of the BJP is. Ajay Alok, the questions on part of the opposition still remain. They are asking कि हमारे कितना नुकसान हुआ, हमारे कितने jets गिरे, उस सवाल का जवाब कौन देगा?
Exactly. That's what I was wondering, and I tweeted just 10 minutes back, not even 8 minutes back, that it's almost 1 hour since Air Chief Marshal has given a statement and he has praised his Air Force. And I wonder why this Congress ecosystem is still not saying anything. Hamara kitna nuksan hua, hamare kitne gire, aisa tha to ceasefire kyun kiya? All these questions are not coming. And I mentioned in my tweet, I think they have improved. Sudhar gaye lagta hai. Lekin let's wait and watch and see. My premonition has come true. Mr. Rashid Alvi is there on the TV. I cannot be wrong. That had to happen. You can play my tweet. I just tweeted 10 minutes back, exactly 10 minutes back.
Well, other question is being raised. If terrorists have been killed, then what is the number? And if high-end or globally designated terrorists, if they too have been killed, where is the proof?
Where is the proof? There is the proof. There is no proof for proof seekers. Go to hell.
Rashid Alvi, would you want to react?
I am unable to understand what kind of leaders BJP has appointed a spokesperson. He is saying go to hell.
Yes,
this is the language which is to be used.
Go to hell, sir. Go to hell, sir. Because if you can't believe our army, you can't believe
Sir, getting personal is something that should be restrained, especially on a national TV like Times Now. We would expect you, because you two are senior leaders, Ajay Alok ji, as far as taking on the opposition is concerned, we've asked them a pertinent question. Will they still call it a tamasha?
No, I'm not answering his question.
They have already said it in the parliament that Operation Sindoor was a tamasha. Now still you want me to answer all the questions? And that's why out of frustration I said go to hell. Because the whole country listens to our air chief, our army chief and our naval chief. But our opposition and especially Congress ecosystem They fail to understand.
All right. In the meantime, we'll put out exactly, in the words that have been said by the Air Chief Marshal himself. Thank you very much, Rashid Alvi, and to you, Ajay Alok, for joining us here on the broadcast. Of course, there is a political aspect to it, but what exactly is Operation Sindoor all about? The success, and how was it able, as how India and Indian Defence Forces managed and able to cripple when it comes to the Pakistani Defence Forces are concerned. In fact, when it comes to its own radars, how it was blown apart to smithereens is something, when it comes to previous examples of Balakot strikes as well, that was carried out by the Indian Armed Forces, has been spelled out clearly when it comes to our Air Chief Marshal. Listen.
And in Balakot, we could not get anything from inside. And it became a big issue, trying to tell our own people, unfortunately our own people, as to what we have been able to achieve. We had intelligence of what has gone on inside. We had intelligence of, human kind of intelligence, where we had very clear picture of inside in terms of there has been huge damage. There have been so many terrorists which have been utilized. But we could not convince our own people that, look, we have achieved that. But this time again, a thing like this would have given us the same problem. But we were lucky, and we got these videos on the open. This is the same building from inside. You see the amount of damage that it has created.
Well, Group Captain Vinod, there is evidence now. I mean, this is what the Air Force Chief is saying, that previously during Balakot strikes, questions were being raised, ke kahan mara,